Sandman.
Greetings friends. In this video I will tell you about an extremely mysterious figure from Howard Lovecraft's Cthulhu Mythos. Abdul Alhazred is the creator of the Necronomicon. Abdul Alhazred is a mysterious figure, who serves as the fictional author of the infamous grimoire known as the Necronomicon in the Cthulhu Mythos, invented by horror writer Howard Lovecraft. Though only a minor background detail when originally introduced by Lovecraft in his short story, The Hound, Alhazred has captured the imagination of readers and become a prominent element in eldritch lore. However, Abdul Alhazred's first appearance was in the story The Nameless City. The story is told on behalf of an archaeologist who discovers the Nameless City in the Arabian desert, which is older than Memphis and Babylon and any human civilization. It is the predecessor of the pyramids that existed long before the Great Flood. There are no legends so ancient that state its name or the time when it was built. But it is whispered about by shepherds at fires and muttered by old women in the tents of sheiks. Abdul Alhazred composed a cryptic couplet about it. That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange aeons even death may die. Details about Alhazred's life and origins are hazy at best. He is most often described as being an Arab poet and occult scholar who lived over 1,200 years ago, in the early 8th century AD. Alhazred is said to have authored the Kitab al-Azif, the original Arabic title of the Necronomicon, around 730 AD, though there are debates around the precise dating. He undertook strange travels across the ancient world, from his homeland in Yemen to remote regions of China, Africa, and beyond. It was during these weird pilgrimages that he supposedly encountered forbidden knowledge of the Great Old Ones, cosmic alien entities who ruled Earth in ancient prehistory. Alhazred recorded this secret wisdom in cryptic verses that would become the foundation of the Necronomicon. The few concrete facts about Alhazred come from brief mentions by Lovecraft and elaborations by later mythos authors. Descriptions paint him as a radish-hued Arab from the legendary city of Sana'a in Yemen. Some versions give his full name as Abdur al-Hazred, or Abdul Alhazred ibn Karif ibn Kasha al-Ashra al-Yemeni. He studied under ancient occult masters in Cairo and Memphis. During his occult researches, he is said to have worked with dangerous mystical factions like the esoteric Islamic sect known as the Ash'ari or Assassini, who may have tutored him in dark arts like necromancy. The name Alhazred itself is likely a pun coined by Lovecraft, evoking the Arabic al-Hazar, meaning, he who fancies. Though this may hint that Alhazred was seen as a crazed fabulist who invented rather than discovered occult secrets. Lovecraft himself wryly referred to Alhazred as a mad Arab, which has led to debates over whether the Necronomicon's secrets drove Alhazred insane, or if he began his occult researches already mentally unstable. Alhazred is said to have flourished during the reign of the early Abbasid caliphs. This places him as a contemporary of Harun al-Rashid, the famous caliph whose Baghdad court became the stuff of legend. Alhazred may have been connected to the great Islamic libraries and repositories of mystical texts that flourished under the early Abbasids. His wanderings brought him into contact with diverse sects within the teeming cultural melting pots of young Islamic civilization. He also likely encountered fringe scholars of the Sabians of Harran, Mandeans, and other syncretic religions that thrived on the fringes of the Muslim world. According to mythos lore, Alhazred embarked on a self-imposed banishment into the legendary Rub al-Khali desert of unexplored southern Arabia, taking with him knowledge gleaned from occult traditions across the Middle East. He dwelt in this sun-blasted wilderness for years, conversing with jinns, ghouls, and other demons of Arab folklore. Emerging from the desert, Alhazred is said to have experienced an explosive burst of prophetic genius, producing the verses that became his masterwork Kitab al-Azif in a stir of creative madness. This activity earned him the epithet, Mad Poet of Sana'a. Alhazred is rumored to have ended his life in Damascus in 738 AD, torn apart in broad daylight by invisible forces in front of a crowd of onlookers. However, given the patchwork of contradictory histories in mythos texts, details of his biography and final fate remain ambiguous at best. He may have journeyed farther east following his desert exile, visiting the ruins of forgotten civilizations across Persia, India, Central Asia and China. There are also apocryphal accounts of Alhazred being persecuted for his beliefs, driven farther into exile in North Africa, Spain, or even Northern Europe. Many works have him surviving beyond 738 and authoring works attributed to later writers. The fragmented accounts of Alhazred's gruesome fate imply he drew the ire of secret cults or otherworldly forces. Descriptions of his violent death seem drawn from threats facing philosophers and mathematicians accused of heresy and witchcraft by medieval Islamic religious authorities. Other accounts suggest Alhazred deliberately spread insane occult writings as a means of sharing dangerous truths indirectly, via embedded meta-narratives that would survive suppression and censorship. Whether seen as madman or misunderstood genius, Alhazred fulfills the role of the classically Lovecraftian alienist, plumbing terrifying realities beyond human comprehension. He gives a distinctive Arab flavor to Lovecraft's cosmology, fitting the fictional mold of a mystic truth-seeker undone by things humankind should not know. Alhazred's identity as both Muslim scholar and exiled heretic resonates with real-world seekers who paid a steep price for unorthodox beliefs in medieval times. This lends him an air of mystery and menace that fires the imagination, more than 40 years after his humble beginnings as an obscure name in Lovecraft's offhand allusions. Abdul Alhazred remains in many ways a cipher, but one who crystallizes themes that run throughout Lovecraft's mythos. The fragmented history of Alhazred's life embodied in global lore echoes how Lovecraft envisioned forbidden knowledge scattered across cultures worldwide. Alhazred experiences how revelation brings not salvation but danger and condemnation, evoking Lovecraft's nihilistic philosophical outlook. And Alhazred's ultimate personal downfall reflects the bleak fate facing those who learn secrets kept by ancient alien gods hostile to humanity. Though mentioned directly only infrequently in the Lovecraft canon, as author of its most notorious book, Alhazred has understandably captured outsized attention. His status as both author and character perfectly encapsulates the metafictional nature of the Cthulhu Mythos as an open-source fictional universe, with later authors expanding the mythos both in pastiche and parody. Alhazred's fragmented history has naturally been colored by ideologies of the various writers seeking to expand on scraps of lore for their own creative purposes. Some interpreters have seen Alhazred as a morally neutral figure, driven by intellectual curiosity to pierce veils between human and cosmic understanding. But others portray him in a more sinister light, dabbling with forces beyond his control, deceiving readers via the as-if with honeyed lies that lure them toward evil and depravity. A few revisionist interpretations even cast him as a hero who crafted the Necronomicon as a means of clandestinely exposing the secret machinations of malign beings plotting against humanity. Alhazred demonstrates the power of a compelling bit character to take on a life of its own. His evolving persona is shaped by forces beyond any individual author, resonating with occult mythologies that enrich the shared universe. Half-glimpsed lives like Alhazred spark the imagination by providing a template for readers to fill in tantalizing gaps with their own vision. The unknown allows others to stitch together themes reflecting their own preoccupations, reinforcing the expansiveness essential to cosmic horror. In centuries to come, who knows what additional whispered fragments of Alhazred's mythos existence may surface. His unfinished biography stands as a perpetually fertile starting point for new fictional reinventions across many media. Alhazred's ultimately unknowable life story encapsulates the imaginative heart of the Cthulhu Mythos.